On behalf of the motion picture industry, welcome to the world of home video entertainment.
Today I'd like to talk about a subject that's really near and dear to my heart. It's a subject that I've thought really deeply about for the past few years, and it's organizing your movie collection. I find it odd that there's not really a lot of talk about this online, that you'll see a lot of talk on Reddit, on message boards, about hoarding movies, about going and buying mass quantities, mass consumption of DVDs and Blu-rays and steelbooks, the latest Criterion DVD and Blu-ray sale at Barnes & Noble or whatever retail establishment is selling them out. And people will acquire dozens or maybe even hundreds of these movies, but there's not a lot of discussion about what to do with them, how to organize them. Most of the organization tutorials, video or written on the internet are produced by people who don't seem to be movie fans. They don't seem to be big movie fans at all, and they talk about, just take your original packaging and cut it up and shove your DVDs or Blu-rays in cute little boxes that you can stick somewhere in a pine box, in a fashionable looking box in your living room. To me, that doesn't cut it. As a video collector, I've spent lots of time and money acquiring these movies. So, I want to make sure that they're stored properly. I want to make sure that when I want to watch a movie, that I'm able to find it. If I'm buying new movies, I want to know, what movies do I already have, so that'll save me money. Say I'm out in the store and I realize, I already have this on DVD. I don't need to buy the Blu-ray right now. That saves me time, that saves me money, that it's just really something that can save you a lot of headache if you've got your organization in proper order. So what we're going to do is I'm going to spend this video just talking about storage strategies for your video collection. And then I'm going to do another video on cataloging software. Cataloging software it's a whole, we're going to dive into that wide, big ocean of cataloging software and what I look for in cataloging software solutions. But this video is strictly in the storage solutions and the storage strategies. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So the first storage strategy, and it's the strategy that I think most people use, it's what I used to do. It's very simple. You get a shelf and you put all your movies on them. You organize the movies in any way you like, by the genre, by the actors, directors, by even the format, DVD, Blu-ray, and that's it. And that has a lot of good stuff. I mean, it's very impressive to see your collection there. You can feel a great sense of accomplishment to see all of your movies lined up, happily in rows, and you can see it all together, and it's just immediate access to everything. But I, over the years of doing this, I found a lot of downsides to just the bunch of shelves strategy. First of all, you've got to have enough storage space for all your movies. You've got to have enough shelves, especially if the shelves are only one DVD or Blu-ray deep. If they're two DVD or Blu-ray deep, then maybe you can get a little more space, but then you're having problems finding things because is it in the first row or the second row, and it's just it can get a little bit difficult when you're not seeing everything at once. And it's difficult to reorganize as well. I mean, I think any collector with shelves has gone through that process when you want to add something into the middle of a shelf. It can take hours or days or a week or more because you got to pull all your discs off, you've got to put them back in the correct order, shove the new stuff in, and then put everything back. It can just be a big hassle. Also, dealing with different formats. A DVD case is a different size than a Blu-ray case, and is a different size than VHS. And then what about Laserdiscs? What about you got some lasers and you want to store them? What seemed to be like neat and simple, now you've got different formats of different sizes trying to get the same shelf space, and maybe you get some custom shelving. Maybe you try to hack something together, quite literally maybe hacking some wood to make a shelf taller or shorter or fatter or skinnier, and it's just it can become a big hassle. And then, as much of a sense of accomplishment as looking at all your movies can be, I found at a point it can also be emotionally draining, okay? And, okay, this is first world problems, again. This is just, but, you only live once, how long are you gonna live? You wanna, be able to enjoy it. And if we're weighed down by looking at all of these movies, these hundreds of movies before you, some thousands, a shelf with thousands of movies, trying to decide what you want to watch. I don't know if anyone's been like me, but sometimes I've sat on a lonely Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever night actually, a weekend or weekday night, I've stared at my monolithic shelf of media, of DVDs and Blu-rays, and I just can't decide what I want to watch. Everywhere my eye moves, there's something interesting. There's something that I want to catch up on. And it just, it can be a real downer to have everything on the shelf in front of you. So maybe we don't want to have everything on the shelf in front of us. Well, another strategy for storing your movies: put them in a binder, okay? Put them in a CD or DVD binder. So you take all your discs out of their DVD or Blu-ray cases, and you put them in a bunch of binders. Then if it's a DVD or a Blu-ray that has a sleeve, there are some binders, special binders that actually have a sleeve where you can actually store the sleeves and the discs in the same binder. Otherwise, you throw them away, you cut them down, as I was talking about earlier, or you store them separately. So the advantage of a binder is it allows you easy access to a large amount of movies. We'll go over digital storage in just a couple of moments, but it allows a real high density of dozens, hundreds of discs in this tiny little case that is just very easy to access. But unlike a hard drive, that you cannot necessarily put a hard drive in a cold storage. A hard drive needs to be spun up like a car every once in a while in order for it to error correct itself, in order for the bits to reorient themselves. And so and then even if you do that, sometimes hard drives are just these mechanical marvels that at a certain point they're going to stop spinning. That may be a very, very, very long time, or it could be tomorrow, or it could be just after you drop it on the floor, or drop it on the hard concrete. So unlike that, optical media, and especially pressed media, but even burned discs, they have a lot of longevity if they're taken care of, if they're stored correctly. And just get a good DVD case with a nice hard back. I've seen some people worry about warping of the discs inside the case. I've had my own questions of that. I've never had any problems with warping in cases. And I have dozens of DVD cases. I've used dozens of DVD cases or CD cases in the past to store my CDs and DVDs and everything. And it's also uniform. It's the disc size for DVD and Blu-ray. They're all going to be nice and uniform discs. So that's a great thing. It's also really easy to add additional storage units. You just buy another case and you add it on. So The downsides of this is it's not a complete solution for all your media, okay? Tape, okay, maybe you could digitize the tape, put it on a DVD, but then what about Laserdiscs? What about all this other stuff? Losing track of the original packaging. Again, I'm not all about the packaging, but again, life is short, I mean, if you're going to spend $5 or $10 or $20 or $30 on a disc, then, it's nice to look at the packaging, be able to read the liner notes and be able to go through that. I think that's fun. Cutting down the packaging, not fun. Not something that a movie fan, someone who really loves the packaging, and some of the packaging can be quite impressive. Do you really want to throw that out? You kind of have to ask yourself. Anytime I've tried to cut down a DVD case sleeve to fit in like one of those little micro DVD cases and stuff, it's always been kind of like, I always start doing it. But I always end up just going like, no, I don't feel like doing this. Also, if you're going to store if you're not going to throw away the packaging, if you're going to store it, then that creates an additional storage issue, that you've got to store all these DVD cases, and then you've got to put all of these empty boxes, and these empty DVD Blu-ray boxes, you've got to put them in the cold storage, anyway. So maybe you can put them in an attic or a garage or someplace, which I always feel kind of uncomfortable about, because there's always the question of, are they gonna get water damage, or just get dirty or filthy, or you've been in a dirty, filthy garage. I've stored a box of public domain DVDs I didn't really even care about. I didn't think I cared about them, but then I was looking for a movie, and I found that movie was in this box of DVDs that had been sitting in a storage unit, and they were just all cruddy, and these were perfectly good DVDs that I should have put in a closet or something. So you're still, if you're putting them in the CD DVD cases and you're holding on to the original packaging, you still, it almost creates a double storage issue, because you've got to figure out how to store that stuff. And then also, if you want to rearrange the discs inside the binders, sometimes that can be a challenge, because again, you've got to take all of those discs out. You've got to put them on a surface where they're not going to scratch and slide around or disappear or whatever. So that can be a little bit difficult, reorganizing the discs inside of the cases themselves. So the third strategy that I could see as far as storing your movies is convert them all to digital. Get a program that'll convert your DVDs and Blu-rays to either movie-only files or ISO images, disc images. One file that represents everything that's on that DVD and Blu-ray disc. It's an exact copy of that disc, only instead of being a physical disc, it's just a digital file, and you can take that large digital file anywhere you want and store it on a hard drive. You convert all your analog stuff to digital as well. You just store that all together, and then you use some kind of player application. Let's say Xbox Media Center, XBMC, which became Kodi, or Windows Media Center, or the myriad dozens of programs on multiple different operating systems. You do that on a computer, or you use a dedicated set-top box like an Android box or an Apple TV or a Chromecast in order to play these files that are on a storage device, either directly connected or through a network. So we're not going to get into the nuts and bolts of what software to use, what players to use, because that's going to be out of date by the time I post this video. So suffice it to say, this is just an overview of that strategy. So the positives, It's great. I mean, it's uniform. Take all of your analog media, your digital media, and they're now all files in one place where they can be organized, where they can be cataloged, where you can know exactly what you have. Instant access at your fingertips. It's like your own personal Netflix, your own personal files. And it's just what used to take a walk across the couch to the shelf or the DVD case is now at the touch of a fingertip. It really is amazing. If you've never experienced that using a video player such as Plex or Kodi to do that, it really is just like mind-blowing. You realize, oh my God, this is what's going on. The density of video that you can just access by the touch of your fingers is incredible. Now, also, you kind of get to do your own editorial. You get to cut out the extras, the menus, the garbage, the gunk that you have to watch before you can actually get to the movie itself. You can just cut to the chase and get to your movie because it's just a video file and it's there. Of course, with a DVD or Blu-ray disc, it actually may have the menu structure. You may have to go through the menus, but otherwise, it's great. It does have some downsides. First of all, depending upon your geographic region, ripping or converting your movies to digital, even the movies that you own, may be illegal. Okay. There can be a little bit of depression, I think, if you are a really diehard video collector, from having no physical media to handle, no physical media to fondle. I find this goes away. If you are actually a movie fan, if you love the movie, we don't love the plastic. We don't love the paper. What we love is the storytelling, is the character. And if it's of a good enough quality, which digital today really is, really incredible quality, you're going to sacrifice very, very, very little quality. The convenience of having this type of thing at your fingertips is going to trump any kind of short-term depression, I would say. It's really short-term. You get over that. It does require proper maintenance, proper care and feeding. With that great convenience, it's going to take some time to set this up, to get the software, to update the software, to get your servers, to find out, are you going to store it on just a few hard drives, or are you going to have network attached storage? All of these questions here, and it may seem overwhelming at first. But, with this, and you're going to have to do maintenance on it as well. You're going to have to do software updates. You may run into bugs. You may run into problems. But it's worth the convenience. I mean, it's just like owning a car or a bike. You have to do updates and maintenance and all the rest. And it may seem annoying, but you get a lot of utility and convenience out of owning a car or a bike or some other electronic piece of hardware or using some software. And so you just have to think of it that way. It's just kind of going to be, you're going to run into issues where you're going to have to do updates and you're going to have to back things up and figure out, is it worth backing all this stuff up? Another problem is that you may run into problems converting specific DVDs or Blu-rays because they have a form of copy protection. Lionsgate and Sony have been specifically Lionsgate has been at the forefront of creating DVDs which have strange structures with hundreds of video titles that try to freak out your ripping programs. And so you may get one or two discs that just, no matter what you do, you can't convert this properly, and it's going to, so it may not be 100% solution for all of your movies. And also because of this, some of these DVDs with just arcane structures, multiple video tracks, branching audio and video tracks, it may cause problems with software media players from playing the files. I would say especially Blu-ray. Blu-ray discs have been available for almost a decade, almost 10 years, and still there's not 100%, as far as I know. Again, by the time this video is released or you're listening to me, there may be 100% solution for playing Blu-ray discs with all types of formats. Really, today there's not. Especially not in open source, free programs. I mean, there's WinDVD, there's other, really expensive closed source Windows programs primarily that can play Blu-rays with menus. But again, with Blu-rays, the menu structure is very complex. It can be very simple, or it can be very complex based on Java programming and some of these very complex menu systems. The media players can have a lot of problems in that. Some parts of the Blu-ray structure are actually much more simpler than DVD. Unlike DVD, a Blu-ray disc is not, the video files are not in like these little 1 gigabyte chunks. They're actually in, you can actually go into the stream folder inside a Blu-ray and see the MTS files, the Blu-ray files. And so what some of these software Blu-ray players do is they basically just they don't play the menus. They go directly to the stream folder, which is basically the video where the videos are stored on the disc, and they just play the video files manually. So you don't get the menu structure and all the menus of the Blu-ray. So Blu-ray with menus is just in software is just not perfect, and it's a real problem, and really disappointing, especially given the age of Blu-ray at this point, that this is not a solution, that Blu-ray is so encumbered by the copy protection and some of the other stuff involved, that there's just no open source way of doing that. DVD, they're really, copy protection aside, DVD is very easy to convert and modify in any way you want. The fourth strategy, the strategy that I really use, and it's more of it's just a combination. I mean, I call it a hybrid strategy. For years, I organized things on a shelf, and very slowly over the years, the VHSs went away, and they became my shelves became overwhelmed with DVDs and eventually Blu-rays, and I never had any kind of cataloging system. I had a very basic organization system just based on genre. That's how I organized my discs on the shelf. But I just got depressed with looking at this gigantic wall of stuff. It didn't seem like a sense of accomplishment or pride to me. It was like, my God, when I reached my early 30s, I'm like, my God, I'm just going to be stuck with this garbage, with this crap, and I don't care about it. I care about the movies. I care about how they make me feel. I care about being able to watch them with a friend or watch them myself and learn something about other people or myself and all, all that touchy-feely BS. But I mean, it's basically, I just got, tired of this, of having to dedicate this gigantic chunk of space to these hunks of plastic. At the same time, I had a lot of, Blu-rays and DVDs that I wanted to still put out, that I was proud of, that I liked looking, that I felt that made a nice, little, little addition to the room that I put them in. So what my idea is, right now I just have kind of like a little marquee storage. I have storage that is basically all my Blu-rays and some of my DVDs, and then my less frequently stored stuff, I just put them in boxes. I have all these boxes in my closet, and they just take up, they're just stacked, they're just banker boxes full of DVDs and some Blu-rays, but mostly DVDs, stuff that, I might want to watch in a blue moon. And I have burned discs, DVD, VHS to DVD, lasers to DVD, that type of stuff. The burned discs stay in binders. Digital files stay digital on some hard drives, and then it's all tied together with a strong catalog solution. And that's how I find my movies. Storing and organizing your movies is very personal, and maybe that's why you don't really see a lot of it online, because it's very personal. It's going to depend upon how many movies you have, what space you have to store them in. I've seen people who have a Tupperware container that they just throw their DVDs in, and they shove that Tupperware container underneath their bed, and that's it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, anything that works for you, that allows you to find your movie, to find the movies that you own, and be able to watch them and enjoy them. I think that's all that matters. Personally, as somebody who gets a bit obsessive about this stuff, I kind of wanted to develop some strategies of how I'm going to store them, how I'm going to find what I've stored, and again, these are some of my little thoughts on that. So, again, if anybody has any other thoughts on this, any other ideas on this, go ahead and put them in the comments. I thank you for watching this little show, and check out the next video where we're going to talk about cataloging software.